I thank the petitioner, and I now invite Mr. Carl Gustav Bjertnæs to address the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, all protocols observed. The Sahelo-Atlantic space stands at crossroads. For too long, instability has deprived the communities of their rightful future. Yet in the southern provinces of Morocco, we see that stability can be built not only through security, but through opportunity. We commend the King for his vision. International cooperation and regional security are deeply connected, especially in the Sahelo-Atlantic space, a vital region stretching from southern Morocco through Mauritania, the Sahel and Senegal to the Atlantic coast. The Moroccan southern provinces, once a crossroads of trade and migration, are now positioned as a catalyst for peace and shared prosperity in an area marked by frequent instability. By nurturing entrepreneurship, supporting innovative ecosystems, and focusing on ambitious job creation, these provinces are becoming central to regional collaboration and security. Our conviction is clear. Especially having just recently returned from an in-depth visit to both Laayoune and Dakhla, peace is sustained when young people find their place in the new economies of the 21st century. The southern provinces are becoming a laboratory for this future, indeed, a Pan-African future, where entrepreneurship and innovation anchor stability. Across the cities and towns, physical and digital incubators are taking root, linking the energy of the youth with the tools of artificial intelligence, automation, and advanced digital services. I foresee a future similar to the development of the UAE. This is not theory, it is happening. In the next phase alone, more than 10,000 young people will be trained to create micro-enterprises, whether a voice AI receptionist for a clinic, an automated legal service for small firms, or digital marketplaces for farmers and artisans. Each enterprise is not just a job, but a bulwark against despair and extremism. No single actor should monopolize the destiny of the people. Sovereignty and dignity are safeguarded when development is inclusive, when innovation belongs to the many and not the few. The southern provinces demonstrate that youth-led innovation is not only possible, it is inevitable when given the right ecosystem. We call upon this Assembly under the spirit of sustainable development goals to embrace this model of cooperation. Let us invest together in incubators of peace, in technologies that heal division, and in economies that honor both.
I now invite Mr. Abdul Basit Patinata Kasidi Ibrahim to address the committee. Please go ahead, sir.
Of the United Nations, ladies and gentlemen, peace is beautiful. Embrace it. Let's unite to reject violence in any form. On the role of the United Nations, it's brutally simple. It's now or never. The violent path of Polisario has no place in this modern world. Morocco's autonomy plan is the best peaceful political solution. It inaugurates a new era in which there is room for everyone, and in which everyone can prosper in peace and harmony. For more than half a century, under the Polisario abuse, the Sahrawis have been detained in the Tindouf camps, without a home, electricity, clean water, medical care, or right to good education. Our consciousness should be challenged, seeing the suffering of the people in these camps. Polisario need to understand their military path is over, and they have lost all credibility and claim to represent the Sahrawis. Majority of the Sahrawis now consider themselves as proud citizens of Morocco. Polisario today represents only a fraction of the population. Even this fraction of population will be departing them soon if they continue on this violent path. Innocent people under Polisario have only seen destruction and ruins in this last 50 years of being in exile. Morocco's autonomy plan should be explored as a realistic starting point for compromise and peace. Polisario organization has failed to achieve any of its founding goals over the past 5 decades of struggle. Morocco's autonomy plan is both brave and right. Polisario no longer speaks for all Sahrawis. Almost all of the international support from the Western countries like USA, UK, France, Spain, and the developing nation is for Morocco's autonomy plan. This should encourage the Security Council to move forward in recognizing Morocco's Sahara autonomy plan. No separatist terrorist movement of mercenaries trained and armed should be in a position to combat the forces of a democratically elected government. The Sahrawis living in the camps are victims of frequent shootings, intimidations, and violent repressions. These are flagrant violations of most fundamental human rights that can no longer be ignored. I demand the immediate intervention of United Nations to protect civilian refugees held hostage by the Polisario. History will not be lenient with those who, at a crucial moment like this, choose silence or inaction. Morocco is a great nation giving dignity and stability to the entire region and its people. This includes the Sahrawi population too. As Morocco is Sahara, Sahara is Morocco. Sahrawi people are Moroccans by history, nationality, blood, and family. And their land has always remained with Morocco and past, present, and the future.
Mr. Mahmoud Oureman Anwar to please address the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, to giving me this opportunity to address this commission as an international human rights expert and to share our deep concern over the growing threat posed by separatist movements to peace, sovereignty, and the protection of fundamental rights in Africa. Combating separatism is a fundamental right in Africa. Combating separatism is today not only a political or security need, but above all a human rights necessity. Across the African continent, and particularly in the Sahel region, separatist groups have multiplied, often evolving into armed movements that erode state authority and undermine regional stability. Their collusion with terrorist organizations, traffickers, and organized crime generates the lawless zones where civilians suffer displacement, violence, and the denial of the basic human rights. We must be clear, separatism weakens the state, destroys communities, and fuels the cycles of insecurity that reflects far beyond borders. One of the most concerning examples is so-called Polisario Front. Far from being a movement of liberation, it functions as an armed separatist group operating outside international legality. Evidence continues to emerge of serious human rights violations in the Tindouf camps, where thousands of Sahrawi remain deprived of freedom of movement, participation, and humanitarian protection. Testimonies describe the requirement of the children for the military purposes, repression against the dissenting voices, and systematic restrictions on those advocating alternatives to separatism. Even more worrying is the Polisario's connection with the extremist and the criminal network in the Sahel region. Such alliance not only creates insecurity in a fragile region, but also they threat collective efforts undertaken by African states and international community to combat terrorism and organized crimes. The persistence of the separatist armed groups like the Polisario undermines the very principles of sovereignty and self-determination, as enshrined in the Charter of United Nations. In contrast, Morocco has put forward a credible, forward-looking political solution through its autonomy initiatives recognized by the Security Council as a serious and credible basis for resolving this regional dispute. These initiatives reconciles respect for sovereignty and the territorial integrity with the principles of participation and self-governance. It offers a path towards lasting peace and stability development in line with international law. Distinguished guests, defending sovereignty against the separatism is not a denial of right. It is a necessary condition for their effective enjoyment. To allow armed separatist groups to persist is create a fertile ground for the terrorism, instability, and the continued suffering for